Hello, everybody, and welcome to Jellyfish Joining a Fan Channel. It is my pleasure. We haven't done this for a couple of years at least. I am with Scott Macdonald of the Lovetarians. Hello, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm good, Pablo. Thanks for having me.
You have so much going on. Well, firstly, um, we last chatted during Jellyfest, which was around the pandemic time. It feels like a lifetime ago now. So, fill everyone in on what you've been doing since then with the band.
Yeah, so I think last time we talked, we were looking for a guitar player, and so yeah, I found one, and his name's Chris. He's amazing, and we started rehearsing about 8 months ago, and now we're starting to actually play shows. So it's been pretty exciting. Last we had a show last week, or last month, and we're having one this month.
Was Chris a Jellyfish fan previously?
He was, yeah, yeah. I had played with him a few times in some other kind of tribute bands, and I was always mentioning Jellyfish, and his eyes kind of, sparked up. So I knew he was, a fan, and it just took me kind of, getting on him a little bit and getting him over here to start the
But
process.
it's a daunting task, though, isn't it? So, what did you introduce to him? Because, we're going to be talking about the gigs that you have coming up as well and what you've
Yeah.
been doing as a band. But which song, like, were you learning a lot of belly button stuff previously before these gigs as well?
No, we didn't. We were just working on Spilt Milk. We kind of took it in three chunks: the first three, the middle three, the first four, the middle four, and the last four, kind of. And then yeah, once we started getting close to being ready to play, we were thinking, okay, well, what do we want to do for potential encore? And the King is Half Undressed is what everyone kind of was navigating to. So that's what we did. That's what we learned, and then with the show coming up, we're learning a stripped down version of Calling Sarah.
Nice. Okay. So, because elsewhere in the channel, there is another interview with us where we go a lot of more in depth with talking about your history as a fan and everything else as well. So we want to focus on the Lovetarians and what you have coming up. I'm very thankful that you're taking some time out to promote the gigs on this channel. You may see a little QR code. We're very technical and fancy on this channel now. So, yeah, what is the QR code in aid of? Now, bear in mind as well, if you listen to this in a year's time, the QR code may not work. So, this is we're recording this on 5th of January 2024, and this will be uploaded on the 6th of January 2024.
Yeah. So we started getting a lot of interest in the show on Friday the 24th of January, and we ended up selling it out or getting close to selling it out. And so the establishment, Atlantis Lounge, decided that we're going to add a second show to kind of back-to-back shows. So the QR code up here is a link to our new Facebook event for the new show. So that's going to go live tomorrow at 1 p.m. So it'd be January 6th at 1 p.m. So whoever is listening to this, you can just use your phone and click on that, and then it'll take you right to the new Facebook event. And we also like to do something kind of fun giveaway. We're starting a fan club, a Lovetarians fan club, and I'd like to do some sort of a giveaway for folks that are joining us on your program, and also that are going to be joining us on the event. So what I'm going to do is, if you do get to the event, just click interested, or if you're in the area, hit going. But then we'll also do a giveaway where we're going to give away a shirt, a t-shirt, a mug, a some other stuff, some other goodies. So anyway, that's what this is for right here.
You know what hardcore jellyfish fans are like. We like our swag. So this is very exciting. So yeah, all relevant links will be posted down below, and obviously links to your YouTube channel as well, where there are some videos and but I can imagine that the videos, whilst great, do not do your band justice in terms of hearing the harmonies live, and you really have you are doing spilt milk top to bottom, which is no mean feat. So who who was able to distill each individual part, and or was that left to individual members to look at? Or did you use any technology to distill the parts? Did you visit stacker tracks, all that kind of thing?
Yeah, so just for some a little bit of preamble, we when we got our first five together, we decided, well, why don't you just come over, the five of us get together and we'll work on Hush. Okay, we'll just work out the harmonies, right? And after that, after about an hour of just banging our heads against the wall, we said, well, let's move on to joining a fan club, right? So after another half hour of not getting anywhere, basically what I did was I took the stack of tracks, um, and I imported them into Pro Tools, and then I spent countless hours working on the arrangements of all the vocals. So I basically just sang the parts myself, and then created kind of a guide track for each person. So it would be the song, and it would be their part louder than the rest. And I did that for all the songs. In fact, I have a SoundCloud that you can include if you want to include the SoundCloud link that has, I don't know, about 12 to 15 different examples of some of the harmonies that I broke out. So the hardest one was probably the middle eight of um, what's it called? King is Half Undressed. Because I've heard a lot of people do that live, including the Jellyfish, and they have, amazing singers. Uh, so I needed to really break it down. So I brought in every existing recording of that breakout and tried to work on it. So I'm pretty proud of that. That's you'll see that's on the top of the list on the SoundCloud. So
Awesome. I've had the pleasure of chatting with Roger's solo band at the time, which is Aaron Kaplan, Linus of Hollywood, and Eric Skodis, and they all rate their performance of King is Half Undressed. Like they're so proud of that. And Roger said as well, as a piece of advice, just imagine your voice is like a laser beam, so that it can't go, you can't go out,
yeah,
basically. And it's also, things like if you're going to sing oohs and ahs and all this kind of thing, you have to have the pronunciation correct as well for everyone, so nothing clashes and nothing stands out, and it just blends perfectly. So, absolute kudos. So, how far are you going with stage wear?
Well, I will probably go as far as anybody since I just happened to actually be at a friend's house in LA this last week, and she happened to have a top hat in her closet, and so I asked her if I could borrow it, and she's like, absolutely. So no, I'm not saying I'm going to wear it for the show, but because trying to get a guitar over this might be a
Yeah.
little bit hard. But anyway, yeah, I think there's a few. The drummer Nick, he's thinking about going a little psychedelic, a little paisley. And the other guys, I'm not sure. I would love them for just to adopt whatever they feel comfortable doing. I'm not instituting any kind of dress code or anything, but I think the more fun we make it, the more that everyone can enjoy it. Yeah.
I agree, and from seeing various tribute bands throughout the years, like seeing a Queen tribute band, you don't necessarily want the guitarist to wear a perm wig or anything like that. It's about capturing the essence,
Ex-
um, you know.
Yes.
And I wish I could be there for it. We've got to get you to the UK. We've got to bang our heads together and figure this
Yeah,
out because I'm assuming, like, with Jellyfish having the audience that it has, have ticket sales exceeded expectations? Is it
absolutely.
is it the hardcore fans, or is there a wider audience as well of the more general sort of populace?
Well, so that's a great question because I thought it was just going to be local, Portland and maybe Washington people that are going to come to the show. But apparently, we have people from 8 different states that are
Wow,
coming to the show. So we have Indiana, Utah, Texas, Nevada, Minnesota, California. So it's, people from all over the country are going to be flying in for the show. And so that was way over the top that I was expecting.
that's magnificent. And do you have some special surprises for the show as well. I know Craig Dorfman is going to be there reading some of. Is he going to be reading some of Brighter Day? Not the whole thing, I'd imagine.
Yeah, he'll be doing some, I think, excerpts from Brighter
Yeah.
Day. I don't know. We haven't really chatted a whole lot about what his part is going to be. Um, so he'll be, yeah, probably some telling some stories. There's going to be other people there from the jellyfish, history. Some people might know that Sarah from Calling Sarah is going to be there, and so I think Craig might, bring her into the conversation as well. I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah, and then we have a few local VIP musicians that are going to be coming as well. So it'll be a lot of fun.
It really will be. So, with uh, with Spilt Milk, do the individual members of the band have particular songs that they like to play?
Yeah, I think Chris, who's the guitar player, he loves playing like Too Little Too Late because that's concentrating on guitar. He loves all the songs that have lead, obviously, like The Glutton of Sympathy, New Mistake. Um, I think Josh, who's the keyboard player, he likes Sabrina since he's singing the lead on that. He also likes The King is Half Undressed. And then I think Nick, who's the drummer, he really enjoys like All Is Forgiven, kind of the heavy drum songs, and Kevin, who plays bass, um, he's such an amazing bass player that I don't know if there's one song that he enjoys, but if you look at some of the videos that we took, because we basically the last show we had an iPhone basically recording each person kind of right up close, and if you there are moments where you're checking out Kevin, who's playing the bass, and you can see a little smile on his face, and he's kind of looking over, I think, either at Chris or at Josh, and they got a little thing going on, but he's just having a ball. And so I got really fortunate, really lucky to get the guys in the band that I did.
And without, hopefully this isn't giving too much away, but from what I saw, when you go from All Is Forgiven into Russian Hill, you just go directly into it, like on the album.
Yeah.
So with regards to sort of like gaps in between songs and stuff like that, like how do you go straight from Fan Club into Sabrina, etc., or do you sort of break things up a little bit?
Well, the show we had at the last show we had, which was our first show, was a house show actually in my backyard. Um, we uh we didn't really worry too much about the in between since basically all the people that were there were our friends or our family. For this next show, we're gonna try to tighten that up a bit, and we are gonna try to go as quickly into each song as possible. Not maybe not quite as quick as from Hush to Fan Club, since we're doing Hush kind of as an a cappella thing, and then the guys have to kind of go back to their stations, and we launch into Fan Club. But as far as uh, going from Russian Hill to All Is Forgiven, that was kind of it's like you're kind of crossing your fingers, right? That everyone's gonna get because basically what I'm doing is I'm just playing a chord, and then I hit a kind of a regenerative delay pedal, and that just kind of explodes, and then I take that guitar off, it's still going, and then I put the acoustic on, and then I kind of have to count everyone in, and then on four I have to cut off my delay pedal at the right time. So we did happen to catch it correctly last month when we did it, but I thought that was super important to be able to try to recreate the album as as best as possible.
Absolutely, yeah. I couldn't imagine how you did that on stage because it, the timing on that has to be so bang on. Yeah, with the song "Brighter Days," well, Jellyfish never performed that live. So was that more of a challenge than the other songs? Because I feel that apart from Hush, but there is a demo of that they performed every other song live. They even performed Too Much Too Little Too Late live, and there is an audio recording out there somewhere.
Oh, I didn't know that. No,
Yeah, I will send you the link. It's on some really sort of obscure Yahoo group or something like that. It is there. So I think Kai probably has it on his archive at this point anyway. But yeah, I will
yeah.
find it and send it to you.
Yeah, so Brighter Day definitely was the last song that I had to program. And it was maybe the hardest one because trying to get all the orchestral pieces is all these, samples that were being played with like the tuba and the flutes. I actually brought in flute players to do the trills, that you can't really recreate with a sampling keyboard. um, and trying to kind of recreate that bell sound, kind of that opens up the track. And I spent a lot of time on just getting that quite right. And so yeah, there was a lot of different brass instruments that I had to sample in order to get the sounds right. But and it's still not quite there. I mean, I'm still tweaking it as we speak to try to bring in a little bit more cacophony and a little bit more craziness into it, because there was, they just recorded uh instrumentals, just play what you want, and they would keep it in there. There's some William Tell overture in there, and there's some all sorts of crazy stuff. I think they were going Beatles, throw the kitchen sink at it, I think.
Mhm. Did it help though? Because the thing that I had read that all of the instruments on Brighter Day appear elsewhere on the album as well, so you kind of knew what to use based on what you used on the other songs. Did that
Exactly.
help?
It did help. Yeah. I have something called MainStage, which is a Mac program. It's a sample library program. And so it enables you to create um like endless amounts of keyboard presets. So we have four keyboards on the stage at one time. And so if you click one button, then all the keyboards change, right? And so having known what sounds and what samples they use for the other songs, I was just easily able to have access to those. So it did totally helped.
That's great. And did you consult the demo versions of the recordings as well? Because obviously there's like demo versions of flute. I'm guessing you looked at every single version that you could possibly look at. But whatever, like, have you ever considered how there's an intro to Glutton of Sympathy that isn't used on the album. There's a different bit of Sabrina, etc. Did you ever think of like maybe using those parts?
No, I kind of wanted just to recreate the record the way it was. I think the one song that I probably used the most when I was figuring out how to arrange it was "The King Is Half Undressed," because of those middle eight vocals.
Hmm.
Because listening to like the Tower Records version really made it hard. And although there were some stereo recordings, I don't know if the stereo recordings that I would get of the live songs, I could split them up, so I could just split two mono tracks and I could just listen to the left side or the right side. So I used that when I was figuring out the arpeggio for All's Forgiven, because it's just this giant wall of sound that you really can't hear specific arpeggio. So that helped. Um, and then of course, all the stack of tracks were in stereo, and so I breaking those up into two mono tracks, you're hearing like different things that you wouldn't normally hear with because they're buried in the mix and you're hearing vocals on top. So for example, on Sabrina, during the choruses, there's this kind of marimba sound that you don't hear, but it's panned far to right or left. And so I'm playing a little marimba on the Sabrina choruses.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there was a lot of that. There was a lot of dissecting of the music and the vocals using those kind of stereo track tricks.
Well, for those who haven't heard the Lovetarians as well, it's scary how close to Andy you sound. Yeah, it is. Like so. when did you realize that? And it's just a bit of a two-parter. So, like, on Sabrina, there's a lot of Roger vocals. So, do you have another member of the band doing the Roger bit on that?
Yeah, so Josh, who's the keyboard player, does the Roger bits on that song, and then Kevin, the bass player, and Chris, they do the Russian Hill kind of chorus or middle eight on that. So yeah, and to answer your question about knowing if I could sound like Andy, I mean, I didn't know really even going into the project if I was going to even sound anywhere near how good Andy sounds. And obviously my voice has got better since we started this. But it happens just to be like my natural singing voice. I'm not really trying to recreate his voice because you really can't do that. You're given your voice. But I do try to help. I do try to copy some of his inflections and some of the way that he sings the songs. Sings the words for sure.
With that, then, do you also look at the live versions of the tracks? Because there's like joining a fan club there are versions where on the last chorus he'll change the melody a little.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
do you sort of delve into that to sort of mix things up, or do you just go with what you feel is right on the night, sort of thing? I know that you
Yeah.
can't just completely ad lib because that would mess everything up, but I'm
Yeah.
assuming there is a little room to sort of do that.
There is, and I've done it a bit on King is Half Undressed when that second verse where he sings, he doesn't sing the exact melody that he it's on the record.
Yeah.
um and I like that, and so I might, but it's more of like I don't plan on doing it, but if I just feel like doing it, I'll do it. But yeah, I've tried to kind of stay, within my lane within those lanes. Uh, and so yeah, and also those acapella tracks that I think Kai posted on SoundCloud. He did some sort of an AI thing where he broke out the all the vocals. I've actually been listening to that a lot because you can really start hearing more of the inflections, more of the way that he's singing parts that you would normally hear if you're just listening to the record.
Were there any sort of parts, either vocally or instrumentally, that surprised you or that you actually didn't know were there? Because I mean, with my ears, I think my ears are okay, but like I didn't really even realize there was banjo on Ghost at Number One until the stack tracks came out, and then yeah, I was just like, oh my god! Like, but you would if it wasn't there, you would know something is missing. But not having the vocals there really sort of made me appreciate things a lot more, like the arrangement for Russian Hill, for example.
Yeah, the there yeah, I can definitely talk about the different songs about like what I was expecting to hear, but then when I, got the back of tracks, up and in Pro Tools and I started, breaking out the mono sides, there were all sorts of things that I was like, what is that? What like example of Sabrina with that marimba part. And so yeah, so that was an example. Trying to think, listening to let's just go through the tracks. Okay, so in the Glutton of Sympathy in that middle eight part, uh there is a lot of brass that you're not hearing really a whole lot of it when you're listening to just the record. And then so when you break it down with just stack of tracks, you can hear the brass. And then if you even go the next step further and you separate out left from right, and then put listen to the right side, you can really start hearing the brass. Same on uh, joining a fan club at the end. There is so much brass on that, and in fact, I think there was an interview with Roger. He said that they kind of they put it down in the mix, and I don't know why they did that, but I'm bringing it back up. I'm going to see if we can get that back up into the mix, and that's just going to be, hopefully our sound guy will be able to bring that up a bit.
Amazing. So, without getting too I guess, controversial. So, what did you think of the latest releases on vinyl? Like,
Um,
how do they compare to, say, the original or the Omnivore versions for you?
so I have the original Omnivore, and then I did get the reissue of Spilt Milk, the last one. Um,
Universal, yeah.
the Universal, and there is definitely some loss of some low end, I think, in the latest mastering process, and I don't know if that's because technology limited it, or they were trying to be safe and not blow out people's speakers, because back then, you know, you were mastering for record players and for big speakers. Now they're mastering for, iPhones and smaller speakers and digital and compressed MP3s. So I don't know why there's a difference, but there's a slight difference. If you listen for it, you can hear a difference for sure.
Yeah, there was a lot of negativity, and but for me, because I've got to like make sure that this is out there as well, that the master that wound up as just the WAVs, the digital streaming version, are different to what ended up on the vinyl. But now I know mastering has to be different anyway, but the person who was responsible for that was not responsible for what ended up on the vinyl.
Hmm.
Um, and he made that he made that very clear, as I'm
Right.
sure you may have read.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm kind of glad in a way that I mean, this is just my opinion that everyone has access to Belly Button and Spilt Milk on vinyl in some way. But since I'm never going to get a chance to interview anyone from Universal, and I've tried, I can say this now. I don't think they should call them limited edition anymore.
No, it seems like they have a bunch of those in some warehouse somewhere, and then when they start, they say it's done, and then all of a sudden, a bunch more magically appear. Yeah, and so I think they're trying to, increase the demand, increase the excitement for these records, that because the more cows at the trough, the more they eat. So they're just trying to create a demand for this. So um,
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, hopefully it means more jellyfish product as well. I mean, the fact that you guys are doing something and probably making a lot of wishes come true because, I got to see Eric Dover play That Is Why live, and that was like incredible for me. To get to see the entire album played in its entirety will be incredible. And I'm sure you know of the following. Not that I'm trying to get you to come over here and do the album if you can. But there is a huge following still in the UK for Jellyfish as well. And King is Half Undressed actually made the UK top 40 back then, which was no mean feat back then. You
yeah,
actually had to sell some copies to get into the top 40.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
and Belly Button and Spilt Milk are on every jukebox up and down the country, including the bonus tracks. They're all on there now. So you can play like Family Tree or whatever if you're in a pub. So it's it's great. I'm quite happy to be one of the few people that actually puts Jellyfish on every time. But but certainly, I would say, and please leave your comments below as well. Let the Lovetarians, let Scott know that you want to see the Lovetarians perform. Um, not just in the US, but obviously, that will that I'm sure that would be a task, um, for both financially and logistically.
Yeah.
But I would hope that this could happen at some point in the future, as I'm sure you would as well.
I would love to tour, whether it's, West Coast tour, or, across the Midwest, or, across the pond. But yeah, you know, trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to get our equipment, from point A to point B? Setting up a tour is a monumental, thing. You need all sorts of people that are doing it. And right now it's just basically the five of us that are putting this thing together. So I did reach out to, I want to say, the guy that puts on the International Pop Overthrow,
I was going
which
to
is a
mention David. Yeah, David Bash.
yeah, David Bash. So I did reach out to him, and I asked him, to check out what we're doing, and we'd love to come out and play. I think the
At
Cavern
the
Club. I
Cavern.
think, yeah, that'd be a thrill, for sure. And I think that's either in May or June. So,
That is in May, and also because we've played it a few times as well, and I've been trying to get some kind of lineup together so that we can play again because it's been a couple of years since we've been able to do something. So this would be extra. I should actually reach out to David and ask him first before I get something together. But yeah, that would certainly be extra incentive because the cabin will provide equipment as well.
yeah,
What
cool.
level I'm not entirely sure, but it's certainly not impossible. And David has brought musicians from the States with him, like Lanny Flowers and the Mayflowers have come over from Japan. So it's certainly not impossible for you guys to come.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be a big thrill.
I shouldn't get too excited, just in case it doesn't happen. But obviously, if it does, we need to do another one of these as well, but in person as well, maybe.
Yeah, I
Um,
would love that. That'd be a lot of fun.
and we have to do the Beatles tour as well, and absolutely just geek out as well. So, um, let's talk about what you have coming up then. So you have two gigs coming up, one of which has minimal tickets left.
Right. So the Friday show, which was the original show, has maybe a handful of advanced tickets left. I think they do keep, a couple, maybe 20 or 25 tickets for walk-ins for people like day of show. And I don't know how they work that when they have such a demand for tickets. So they opened up the day before, so or the night before, it'd be Thursday the 23rd. And so yeah, we don't know what the response is going to be for Thursday, but we do have a lot of out of towners coming in. Um, and I'm not sure if they're coming in on Friday or if they're coming in on Thursday, but yeah, we'd love to sell out both nights. I think we have another like 3 weeks left until the shows. So starting tomorrow at 1 p.m., we'll have that Facebook event live, and we'll start having tickets being sold.
And this video will be uploaded in conjunction with that as well. And you mentioned that there will be some kind of competition for some Lovetarian swag.
We do, yeah. We'll do like a fan club package, Libertarians fan club package that has t-shirts, mugs, t-shirt or hats, and I think there's some stickers. But anyway, we'll put something together and we'll do a kind of a random drawing maybe for all the folks, even if you can't come to the show, click on the Facebook event link that says that you're interested, and then that will put you in for the drawing. So once we have a good amount of people in there, we'll do a kind of a random number drawing, and then whoever gets it, we'll reach out to them, and so they get the first swag pack.
It's very exciting. And yes, use the QR code, and all links will be posted below as well. So at some point, we've got to get the full band up. I know you said that getting five people together would be not the easiest. I can imagine it's not the easiest just for rehearsals, never mind for a for an interview like
Yeah.
Herding Cats. Yeah, I'm very familiar with that.
Yeah, because everyone works, everyone has day jobs, and so getting people together for a daytime kind of Zoom call, and maybe we can do a weekend coming up.
Would
This
love to.
this time seems to work for me, like a midday. What time is it there for you?
Well, right now it's 21:40, so we are quite ahead. But what we could do is open it up as well. So if it was after the gig, we could open it up to like a fan Q&A and stuff like that as well. And obviously, like I say, any comments you want to post below, we can submit to Scott at a later date. But also, I'm assuming you are very contactable through your Facebook as well, and we'll answer questions and stuff like that. One thing I wanted to ask though, because you do see this sometimes, and it's completely understandable, especially if want to sell tickets to more gigs. How open are you to having people with their camera phones filming stuff, or do you kind of want to keep that to a minimum? and make it immersive, but also kind of be in control of what you put out there, sort of thing.
Yeah, so I don't have I don't feel like people should not record the show. I think that's completely up to them, and there's going to be a lot of video phones out, and that's totally fine. Posting them to the socials obviously is cool. It's better to, I think there's a lot of people that would want to that couldn't be at the show, but maybe they can see the footage and get an excitement that they had for Jellyfish back in the day. So please, video away and hashtag away, and yeah, it's gonna be super exciting. Really looking forward to it.
That's great. And one last time, where can people find you on your various social media platforms?
Yeah, so we're on YouTube, which is just search the Lovetarians. Our Instagram, same, the Lovetarians. We're also on Blue Sky and X and I think Threads. Um, so yeah, I think if you just search the band name, you'll find all the different social streams that we do have, and I'll give those to you. I'll give those links to you, and you can put them in the comment section.
That's amazing. Well, look, Scott, I want to thank you for being a part of this and for uh, let me just ask you lots of nerdy questions and
No, I
because
love.
I have many and we can do this at length. So yeah, I want to thank you again and thank you to everyone who has liked and subscribed Jellyfish Joining a Fan channel and do stay tuned for more and do visit the Lovetarians on their social media and we will see you all next time.